This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Hey, yeah, let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome into another podcast to talk about the Arizona Cardinals. And ladies and gentlemen, we are less than 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away from the start of the 2024 regular season. And man, I am absolutely super stoked. I appreciate everybody for being here in the chat. Julio, Laura, Darius, Mr. Gangster up in there. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. We're going to have a good, fun-filled show for you guys today. If you guys could do me a huge favor, smack up that like button. Do it for the algorithm. We are currently streaming on X/Twitter now. So we're opening it up here, ladies and gentlemen. So I appreciate y'all for being here. There's a lot of stuff that's kind of happened already. Now, tomorrow is going to be the official date of the start of the 53-man roster. Now, usually how it works, it's probably going to be released sometime around, I don't know, like 1, 2, 3, somewhere around those limits. Like, I know that we have a specific time when the 53-man roster is set, but it's usually late. Like, it happened last year, it happened the year before as well. But yeah, obviously keep in tune, and I'll make sure to kind of keep you guys up to date with everything Arizona Cardinals. But there's news. There's definitely some news that we're going to be diving into today, just pertaining to the Cardinals and currently what's going on in the world of the Cardinals. So let's get started here, right? Let's go ahead and get started. Let's first dive into the latest news that's happening with the Cardinals, and then we're going to be diving into the players that have already been released. And then after that, we're going to be talking about who's going to make the roster, right? Just kind of a prediction amongst me and then you guys here in the chat, who you want to make the roster, who you don't want to make the roster. I did release a video earlier this morning about, is it time to panic, right? Is it time to panic about QB2 with, Clayton Tune as well as Desmond Ridder? There's a lot of people that were, pro Tune, a lot of people, pro Ridder. There's some people that are pro Tannehill as well. So we're going to be diving into all that here as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's first talk about the latest news that's dropped earlier today. Now, if you guys do not know, Jonathan Gannon was on an early press conference today. Just kind of giving updates on currently what's going on with the Cardinals. Now, obviously, one of the biggest news out there is Darius Robinson, right? When is he going to be available? Is he going to be available? Is this one of those things where he's going to be put on IR? Is he going to be missed the first 4 games and potential a start on, week 5? Jonathan Gannon, just like usual, keeps things so close to the vest. And I'm not going to sit here and, say anything. That's just the way he does things. But it continues to happen, right? It continues to happen. Here's the biggest updates on what Jonathan Gannon said earlier this morning. Now, huge shout out here to Darren Urban, the insider for the Arizona Cardinals. This is going to be for the Darius Robinson piece. He said Robinson will miss time, but Gannon said he's not going to put a timeline on it. Now, I think we can all kind of breathe a sigh of relief, being the fact that this wasn't a ACL or injury, right? It's a calf injury. Now, although it still sucks, it's better than the alternative. And the alternative is the fact that the Arizona Cardinals are dealing with a first-round pick that a lot of us have a lot of high praises for, and we're probably not going to be able to see him until, when he's ready. Right? When he's ready. Now, obviously, don't rush him. We want him to be in top tier when he's available and healthy and ready to go. But this is the latest news pertaining to Darius Robinson, is the fact that he will miss time. And I believe they also asked him, and by they I mean the media, they ended up asking him, is he going to be put on IR? He did not want to disclose any information on that. Now, he's going to have to disclose it, or at least I'm assuming is if he's going to have to disclose it once the 53-man roster actually kind of shows up. So tomorrow when the 53-man roster is out, I'm assuming the decision is going to be made by then, right? Because putting him on IR is going to be able to open up a space for somebody that's going to be able to help you for the first 4 weeks, right? Now, if this is a situation where they are predicting that Darius Robinson will probably be available by week 2, week 3, then hey, don't put him on IR, right? But that is also good news for Cardinals fans because then we're probably going to get Darius Robinson here sooner rather than later. But they did ask him, what is the update? And right now, just like he's always been doing, keeping things very, very close to the chest. And he said that he will miss time, but right now he's not putting a time limit on Darius Robinson. Now, there was also asked about another breaking news that dropped earlier this week is the Zay Jones situation. And apparently, the team knew something could happen with Jones. He does feel that the wide receiving depth can handle Jones' absence. So whether you agree or not, it seems like the Arizona Cardinals were fully aware of a potential suspension that can come down the pipeline because they were fully aware of what has happened when he had his time with Jacksonville. It almost kind of seems like they were preparing themselves and they are fully confident in moving forward in this remaining of the 2024 season, or at least for the first 5 weeks without Zay Jones. We do have a lot of players that I think a lot of us are pretty excited about. Some of them being obviously Xavier Weaver. A lot of Cardinal fans are excited about Xavier Weaver. Me as well. I've been talking about him since we got him in draft season, undrafted. So I've been talking about him. I released a video about him. It wasn't really a film breakdown, but it was kind of hyping him up because I was really excited that the Cardinals got him undrafted. So the depth right now stands as this. Obviously Marvin, number 1, number 2 being Michael Wilson, and then Greg Dortch being 3. After them, I could solidly say Chris Moore is probably going to be there. And then potentially, because here's the thing, like I know there's going to be a lot of people talking about, Bocelli, right? I just don't know if Bocelli is going to make the roster. The 53. He might be moved to the practice squad, and that kind of seems to happen every single year where I'm telling you, this man's been on the Arizona Cardinal roster for a very, very long time. And he just never makes the 53. It's very, very unfortunate. But after Chris Moore, I don't know, maybe Zach Pascal? Maybe Zach Pascal actually squeaks his way in. You could potentially see that. But I do want Xavier Weaver to make the cut. I do want the Xavier Weaver to make the cut just because of just how explosive he can be, right? We've seen the explosiveness on the punt returner, as well as the punt return game, as well as the kick return game. I really want to see this guy on here. Like, I really do. That's one player that I'm like, man, once this 53-man roster is released, that's the first name I'm going to look for because he's that one guy that's kind of, you don't know, right? You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but he showed out. We heard Jonathan Gannon come out and say that he was impressed with a lot of the rookies, right? Just not just Xavier Weaver, but a lot of the rookies really showed out this preseason and training camp as well. So I'm excited. I truly am excited to see what this Arizona Cardinals offense is going to look like because that's what gives me positivity, right? It's the offense is what's giving me positivity heading into the 2024 season. The defense is still a little bit of a known. Did we upgrade from last year? Of course we did, right? Absolutely we did. But there's still a lot of unknown when it comes down to the defense. So I'm just kind of excited for it, and I'm here for the ride, and hopefully, we're going to be able to make some noise week 1 versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, another question was asked, and I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a guy, when I released my first predicting 53-man roster, right? The predicting of the 53-man roster. I ended up releasing it earlier last week, and I remember very, very vaguely, very, very distinctly, not vaguely, very, very distinctly, that there was a lot of people saying, the Cardinals will not carry 5 running backs. Mike, you are crazy. The Cardinals will not carry 5 running backs. That just won't happen. Well, guess what? apparently the media thinks it's not a outlandish thing, because that was one of the questions that was asked. Is the fact that, hey, can you guys carry 3, right? Can you guys carry 5 running backs? And obviously Jonathan Gannon and his Jonathan Gannon ways, he said, I'm not going to rule it out, right? I'm not going to rule out the idea that, that's not possible, because anything's on the table right now. That's what he made it seem like. So I'm going to come out here and say, I'm not going to say we're going to carry 5, but the idea that the Arizona Cardinals can potentially carry 5, I do think it's on the table, right? James Conner, Trey Benson, Amari DeMarcado, Michael Carter, which we didn't see. We didn't see Michael Carter at all this last preseason game, which is an indication to me that, hey, he might be, it seems like the Cardinals have seen enough, right? And they probably want to bring him into the 53, or at least hopefully. The big one out there is DJ Dallas. Now, to me, I've always talked about the guys that I'm not 100% sure is DJ Dallas as well as Michael Carter. Now, I think Michael Carter serves a little bit more of a, need for this Cardinals offense, just because of the differentness of what type of player he is, right? What type of running back he is, how explosive he can be. So I've always said that the biggest unknown right now is Michael Carter and DJ Dallas. Right now, DJ Dallas is slated to be punt returner and kick returner for the Cardinals, right? Now, we don't know if the Cardinals are going to go a different direction, right? We've seen Xavier Weaver, a guy that we are all really high on and really would love the opportunity for him to get the opportunity. We've seen him actually take punt returns and kick returns in preseason. Maybe the Cardinals go that route, and they do carry 4 running backs, right? But the idea of carrying 5 running backs, including one of those running backs being specifically on special teams, he's not ruling it out. So, not trying to pat myself in the back, but it's one of those things that there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent on the running back core right now that the Cardinals can very well use the services of a Amari DeMarcado, a Michael Carter, right? A potential DJ Dallas as well in the special team. So I'm not going to sit here and say I was right, because I'm not right, but it's still on the table. That's the number one thing right now, that is still on the table for potential. The Cardinals might be carrying 5 running backs. So there's that. I do want to see Xavier Weaver, but as long as he makes the 53 and there's no other team comes out here and poaches him away, I think I can sleep good at night and say that Xavier Weaver's on the team. Because I don't know. I have a feeling about this guy. I have a feeling about Xavier Weaver. I think he's going to be special. I really, really do. All right, let's move on over to players that have been cut already. Now, if you guys do not know, yes, the Arizona Cardinals currently right now are working on building out the 53-man roster for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. I've said this once and I'll say it again. And I'll say it again for the people in the back. Once the 53-man roster has been established, there's still going to be a lot of moving parts. I almost promise you. There's still going to be a lot of moving parts for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals. There will be. Because I think we're going to be paying very, very close attention to the waiver wire. Whoever has a abundance amount of players for their defensive line, maybe see that the Arizona Cardinals can potentially, snipe one of those guys in waivers. Because right now they got the 4th waiver claim right now. So if they can clear 3 of those teams, the Cardinals can get a lot of players that they choose to decide to bring in, right? And sometimes there's some teams that have a lot of riches in specific areas, right? Right now, the Cardinals are in a situation where I think we will be very active in the waiver wire. And of course, better bet your bottom dollar, we're going to be making a video about all the waiver claims from the Cardinals that we're going to be getting. So make sure you have your post notification bell on, and obviously subscribe over to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. And that's going to be where the main podcast lives, but we are going to now start streaming via X/Twitter from now on a lot more. So for the people that are currently in here, appreciate y'all for being here, by the way. If you could do me a huge favor, smack up the like button, do it for the algorithm. We're less than 2 weeks away. We're less than 2 weeks away from the start of the 2024 season, and I am just ready to go. All right, let's get started, and let's talk about the players that currently have been released. Now, if you guys want to get involved in the chat is open for you guys to talk amongst each other, and then I'll be highlighting some comments here and there as well. So let's dive into players that the Cardinals have already released now, right? They already released them. Like, there's been multiple reports from, I saw Aaron Wilson, I saw Tyler Drake, Darren Urban. It's on the Cardinals.com already, so they've already been released, several players, and that's what we're going to be diving into right now. So huge shout out here to Tyler Drake with this report. He says the Arizona Cardinals have released these 6 players. Now, not the funny thing, right? I'm not going to say the funny thing, but the odd thing is that a lot of these players, the Cardinals just signed. Like, we just signed these guys. And that's what I was talking about before. When I was making a lot of those videos, I've mentioned before that the fact that these signings that the Cardinals are doing, they're probably camp bodies, right? They're probably camp bodies. They're probably preseason bodies. And a guy like wide receiver Dalen Baldwin, right? We signed him less than a month ago. Already released, right? Chris Garrett, released. Delonte Hood, which I remember that that report that came out about, standout cornerback from the UFL, Delonte Hood, and the Cardinals released him. Verone McKinney, the third, safety for the Cardinals, released. Austin Pleasance, released. Another cornerback in Michael O. Is it Aljumida? Butchered his name, but released. These are the guys right now that were on this roster that the Cardinals are safe to say, hey, it's not going to work out right now. But thank you so very much for your time and what you put into this, preseason as well as training camp. But we're no longer going to need your services. Unfortunate, yes. This is a tough day. It really is. I know for Cardinals fans, right, or fans of the NFL, it's an excitement because we can now see who makes the 53-man roster. But there's a lot of guys losing their livelihoods, a lot of guys losing their game checks because of not making the 53, right? And that's all 32 teams in the NFL. So it's kind of one of those bittersweet days. But at the end of the day, these are the latest guys that have been released by the Arizona Cardinals, and tomorrow it's going to get much worse. There's going to be a lot of players being announced about about being released. We can look at the depth chart right now. And I already know there's a lot of players on this depth chart that is probably going to get the axe. The crazy thing is that this team in general, it's based off of a lot of young talent, like a lot of young, talented second-year players as well as rookies. The only rookie that I see that might not make the 53, but might make practice squad, as long as he clears waivers. What's his name? I think it was he came out of Miami. What was his name? Jaden Davis. He's really the only guy that I can think of that potentially might not make the 53. 5'10", 182, out of Miami. He was a late round pick for the Cardinals, and I think it was literally the last pick for the Cardinals. So he might not make it, but there's going to be a lot of cut downs from the cornerbacks. Devad Wilson, which I actually believe he got hurt. And I know a lot of people were excited about Darren Hall. I don't think Darren Hall is going to make it either. I really don't. I think the cornerbacks are going to shake out as Garrett Williams, Max Melton, Sean Murphy-Bunting. I think Elijah Jones will make it, but I think Keitrell Clark might be that last guy. No, I'm sorry. I apologize. Starling Thomas V might be that last guy. So to me, the four surefire guys in the cornerback position is Starling Thomas, Garrett Williams, Sean Murphy-Bunting, and then Max Melton. That fifth, it could either be Elijah Jones or Keitrell Clark, or heck, it could be both, right? It could be both. So there's a lot of players that are probably going to get cut, like Bobby Price. I don't think he's going to make it. Darren Hall, I don't think he's going to make it. And not to, downplay or say they're not talented. It's just we have 53 spots and we can't carry 8 cornerbacks, right? We can't. I think we're going to carry 4. We might carry 5. I don't know. But there's a lot of players that might. And I think Jaden Davis might be the odd man out. The odd man out when it comes down to the cornerback position on this roster. So let's take it to the comments real quick. Appreciate y'all for being here, by the way. Right now, we are chilling with 74 people here on YouTube. Thank you so very much for being here. Smack up that like. We got 21 likes right now. Go and smack it up. Do it for the algorithm. Appreciate y'all. Let's see if we can get to 40 likes on YouTube. And then for all you X/Twitter people, thank you so very much for tuning in. If you guys haven't already shot us a follow here on the AZ Sports Fan, we're going to be doing this a lot more as the year goes on. It's going to be coverage up the yin yang when it comes down to Cardinals coverage. Let's go ahead and take it to the comments and let's see what you guys have to say. Aiden, what's up, Aiden? He says Darren Hall plays safety too, though. That's fair. That's fair. But here's the thing. When it comes down to Darren Hall, actually, not even Darren Hall. Let's not even talk about Darren Hall. Let's talk about safeties, right? Let's talk about the safeties. So who's going to be the safeties? Buddha, Jalen, Dadrion Taylor-Demerson, a.k.a. Rabbit, right? To me, I feel like Joey Blount or Andre Chatre would probably get the edge over a Darren Hall. Yes, he could play safety. That's true. Yeah. But there's only so many defensive backs you can bring onto the roster. There's only so many you can bring, right? You can't have 13 plus defensive backs, including safeties and cornerbacks, right? I think the fine line between both of those positions, you're probably looking at 8, 9 players between those two positions. In my opinion, I don't know. If he makes it, great, perfect, amazing. That would be cool. I don't know. I feel like because Joey Blount does play special teams, and I'm assuming Darren can also play it, but Jalen, Buddha, Rabbit, and then Andre Chatre or Joey Blount, I feel like might take the edge over a Darren Hall. But I mean, we got to call it like it is. He did have a good preseason. We'll say that, right? He did have a good preseason. There's a lot of players that we love to back because, hey, they're ballers, right? They're playing very, very well. But that's the way that I see it shaking out personally, right? One person's opinion. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow is the official date for the 53-man roster. Here's the big question. Let me ask you guys this in the chat. And this is for X/Twitter people. Appreciate y'all for being here as well. What do you think is going to happen with the quarterbacks? I released a video earlier today about, is it time to panic? What do you think the Arizona Cardinals do with the quarterbacks right now? Obviously, we still got some time before the roster gets cut down to the final 53. But what do you think the Arizona Cardinals do right now with the 53-man roster? With the quarterbacks? I don't know if you guys saw, but it seems like there was a quarterback that was traded not too long ago in Malik Willis. I'm not saying the Cardinals had any interest in Malik Willis. I'm not saying that. But Malik Willis was traded for a 2025 7th round pick to back up Jordan Love. I mean, 7th round. The only name that would kind of make sense, and I'm not even sure if it really makes sense, it's just one of those names that, is out there. It's probably Ryan Tannehill. But what do you think the Arizona Cardinals should do? What do you think the Arizona Cardinals should do in the quarterback? Do you think move Clayton Tune to 3, get a veteran? Do you rock with both of those guys? Tune at 2, Ritter at 3, or vice versa? Do you think it's going to be 3 quarterbacks? Do you think it's going to be 2 quarterbacks? What do you think is going to happen for the 2024 Arizona Cardinals? Because like I said earlier, the Cardinals had an opportunity to do something, right? To trade, because like I said, they could trade. They can get a guy on waivers, right? Anything's on the table. Anything's on the table. Are they going to wait for somebody? Probably. I don't know, right? My opinion is I think they're going to be rolling with who they get. Honestly, I think they're going to be rolling with who they have. I think when you hear Jonathan Gannon talk about Clayton Tune, he does speak very, very highly about him, about how he's progressed, how he's gotten better, how he is in training camp, how he did in preseason. It seems like he's going to be the guy. That's what it feels like. But I'm not going to lie to you. One of the biggest talking points right now is that the Cardinals should be getting a QB2 to back up Kyler. We got over here, we got Laura saying, what about Tyler Huntley? I mean, isn't he still with Baltimore? I don't think, or at least I can't really speak for Jonathan Gannon or Monty. But I don't think there's any way that Baltimore just decides to release him. He's a clear-cut backup quarterback for Lamar. And he did really, really well. He did really, really well when Lamar went down. He did really, really well. Is he not the QB? Is he not a QB for them anymore? Oh, I'm just looking at the Ravens depth chart right now. He's not even there. Oh my goodness. Well then, hey, I wasn't even aware. Is he on the Browns now? Well then, hey, that opens up a new can of worms there now, does it? That opens up a brand new can of worms now there, does it? Because the Browns currently have Deshaun Watson, Jameis Winston, Tyler Huntley, and then Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. Ooh, interesting. But here's the thing, like, I don't know. I mean, am I on board? Of course, right? It's just, I don't know what the Cardinals are going to do. We're only speaking and speculating. But I wouldn't be mad at that. I would not be mad at that at all. Huh. Here's the thing. I thought he was still with the Ravens. I still thought he was with the Ravens. Yeah, he's with the Browns. 6'1", 205, 26 years old, out of Utah. And he, like I said, he had some starts under his belt. In 2023, he had 5 starts. 2022, 6 starts. 2021, 7 starts. 2022 starts. Like, yeah, he's definitely had some production. I mean, I wouldn't be mad at that if the Cardinals did decide to go that route. But then, who are you going to cut, right? Are you cutting Ritter? Are you just demoting Clayton Tune? I don't see a world where the Cardinals get rid of Tune. I really don't. I think the Cardinals like Tune. I really, really think they like Clayton Tune. Desmond Ritter, on the other hand, did they trade for him? Yes, but we cannot ignore the elephant in the room. Desmond Ritter looked rough. He looked rough. Now, they might give him a mulligan. They might, because he just started, right? We just traded for him. This is his first year. So, maybe. But yeah, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I would not be mad at that at all. Darius in the chat says, get rid of Ritter. I mean, Ritter looked bad. He did. I mean, it's, you can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. Look at my comments. Look at any social media that has to do with the Cardinals. You can't ignore it. Ritter struggled mightily. And he got knocked out of last game, right? He got knocked out of this last game versus the Denver Broncos, and Clayton Tune had to come in. Clayton Tune threw a pick six, and then obviously more Cardinal fans felt like it was more of an urgency. I mean, we got beat down. Let's call it like the Cardinals got beat down. They do. We have a guy here on the chat says should have kept Dobbs as a QB2. The reason why they didn't keep Dobbs as QB2 is because the noise that it would have made if we kept Dobbs. That's why. It's too much of a distraction. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, think about it. It's too much of a distraction if you kept Dobbs. Dobbs was a underdog story like we haven't seen from the Cardinals in a very, very long time. If they kept Dobbs, it would have been a distraction. Now, if they reunite with him, that could be possible. But right now, he's with the 49ers. Right now, Dobbs is with the 49ers currently right now. So, what they're going to do with them? Are they going to release them? Probably. Are they not? I don't know, right? But Dobbs would have been too much of a distraction if we decided to keep him and just benched him, right, for Kyler. Obviously, Kyler's the guy. We know that, right? There's no debate. It's just, it would still be a lot of a distraction. Imagine Kyler Murray struggling. How many people would come out here and say crazy, outlandish things? You know. It was a move that had to happen. But huge shout out here to BetUS, sponsor of the Arizona Sports Fan here throughout the entirety of the NFL season. Currently, right now, they are doing a sign-up promotion. You can go ahead and get 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits. The link will be in the description below. Let me go ahead and just take a real quick break and let Michael Vick tell you about BetUS.
Michael Vick at BetUS.com. Catch an incredible 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits plus 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS, my online sportsbook and casino.
Huge shout out here to BetUS. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so very much for doing what you guys do. Like I said, the link is in the description below. Go ahead and play along if you're looking into finding a new sportsbook. BetUS is the way to go. All right, let's continue with the comments here, and then we're going to be diving into specific positions that we feel like are going to make it, that are not going to make it. That's what we're going to be doing today, and that's how we're going to be rounding out the stream here today. So let's go ahead and continue to talk on the chat. What's up, Jesus? He says, what QBs are in the next draft that can replace? Oh my goodness, here we are. Oh, we're not going there. We're not going there. Let's go to the prepper. What's up, the prepper? Can't we get another guy who runs an offense similar to Kyler as a backup? Yeah, I mean, yes and no, right? Yes and no. I think the easy answer is yes. It's just a lot of those guys don't grow on trees. I think Dobbs would have been a really good backup to the Cardinals. It's just you couldn't have kept him with just the distraction that he would have caused. Because right now we got Desmond and right now we got Clayton Tune, and they are different. They're both different types of QBs. So I agree with what you're saying. We should have somebody more similar to Kyler. I do agree with you. I do. I think it would make more sense. I think it would be, yeah, because I mean, if it does happen to where Kyler needs a break, yeah, it would be an easier transition for sure. What's up? Yeah, he says, I don't think it would have been, I don't think we would have knew he was a backup. I don't think it would have been, everyone knew he was just a backup QB. I don't know if you were seeing the same comments I was, and I don't know if you were in a lot of these streams that I was on or hop onto social media. I know that when Cardinals don't do well, like they don't have a good season, there's not a lot of people communicating via the chat. There's not a lot of people in the comments. There's not a lot of people engaging in Cardinals posts, right? When the Cardinals aren't doing good, a lot of the people that are really loud say some outlandish things. So I see where you're coming. Maybe you didn't see it, but it was there. It definitely was there. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but it was one of those things where Yeah. I don't agree, but like I said, outlandish things. Here we go. Super chat getting dropped on our heads. Appreciate you, Darius. Thank you so very much for the $20 donation. Wow, big 20. Thank you so very much, man. Absolutely appreciate it. He says this. T15 was deprived of year 1 of development due to Dobbs. This was his first full year with the new coaching cycle. Brown's game was a disaster because he was fed to them after Dobbs took all the snaps all season. K1 plus T15 equals win. And if you don't know, my guy Darius here is probably one of the biggest Clayton Tune supporters, and I'm right there with him too, honestly. I think we both get, I think he might be a bigger supporter to Tune than I am. It's good to see, honestly. He's right, though. But he's speaking facts. Like, this is correct, 100%. When I was speaking all my stuff last year, when I was like, Dobbs should be QB1, right? Because the competition, when Kyler was down, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. Somebody's going to clip this and say, oh my God, he wants Dobbs to be QB. No. Let me rephrase that. When Kyler wasn't starting the season, right? I made a lot of videos saying Clayton Tune should be QB1 when Kyler Murray's down, right? Now, this was the understanding that the competition was between Colt McCoy and Tune. It was obvious who was the winner. But when they brought in Dobbs, it absolutely did deprive him of his development in year 1. And yes, you can play with the 2s, you can play with the 3s, but you're not getting that chemistry down. And one thing that we've been talking about so much on this channel that now people are starting to realize that it's such a big deal, because you're now hearing these athletes talk about it, right? You're now hearing Michael Wilson, you're now hearing Kyler Murray talk about how important it is, when we've been talking about it for a very long time. Chemistry, gelling, knowing the person that you're playing with, right? Trying to be, just having that connection amongst each other. It's very important. It really is, because a dig route, a slant route is different from a Greg Dortch running that compared to a Michael Wilson, a Greg Dortch compared to a Marvin Harrison Jr. So yeah, the development in terms of getting chemistry down, it was not there. So he was fed to the Wolves. Absolutely, he was fed to the Wolves versus the Cleveland Browns when Dobbs got benched, or he might have got traded already. And then it's just the rest was history. It was a bad showing, but I don't blame him. Like I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, he's terrible, because the Browns were a force to reckon with. The Browns were a dominant team. That team was good. That Browns defense is good. But now, like I said before, what the Cardinals decide to do, we're gonna dissect it. We're gonna see what they do. To me, right now, the way I'm hearing the Cardinals organization talk, I think the Arizona Cardinals are staying with Tune. Now, Ritter, wild card. I don't know what's gonna happen with Ritter. Are they gonna potentially get somebody on waivers? Are they gonna potentially try to trade for somebody? I don't know. Now, if they trade for somebody, that guy might be QB2 because of the going after and trading an asset. If they get somebody on waivers, somebody that they really like, then we could potentially get a backup maybe QB3 then. It's one of those things, right? You don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, but we will know by tomorrow. We definitely will know by tomorrow on what the Arizona Cardinals decide to do. 2 QBs, 3 QBs, Desmond Ritter, Tune is a 2 or 3, right? Right now it's kind of up in the air. Let's continue to talk about positions. Right now we're over 100 people right now in the chat. Appreciate you. I think people are getting excited about football again. Let's go. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so very much. Let me go ahead and sound it off. Give me a sec. Appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for being here, by the way. If you could smack the like button, YouTube fam, appreciate y'all. Let's see if we can get 50 likes by the time this stream is done for. But right now we're going to continue to talk about who I think will make the cut. And follow along. Let me know here in the chat and what your guys' thoughts are. And if I'm wrong, definitely call me out. I love it. All right, let's talk about, we talked about the quarterback position for nauseam, right? Kyler, Desmond, Clayton. 2, 3. We've talked about it already. We're going to skip over the quarterback position because, like I said, we talked about it in nauseum. I potentially want 2, but I won't be mad for 3. Let's talk about running backs. I've said this before. The media has asked Jonathan Gannon, is it possible for you to carry 5 quarterbacks? He said, I'm not ruling it out. So, right now, the Arizona Cardinals already made some moves, right? These are the moves the Arizona Cardinals have made to kind of trim down the roster. The biggest unknown right now is that running back core. James Conner, Trey Benson, Amari. Those are the 3 guys that I can seriously say to myself that those guys are going to make it. Michael Carter, absolutely I want him to make it. 100% I want him to make it. But also, DJ Dallas. He deserves it, right? Punt returner, kick returner, really good special teams guy. I would love to see him make it too. So I don't think it's out of the realm that the Cardinals are going to potentially get 5 running backs in. And thinking about that 5th running back, he's going to be that special teams guy. So yes, it's 5 running backs, but at the end of the day, it's 4 that you're going to be using in the rotation. But that guy is just listed as a special team / running back. So I think it's going to be, I don't know. I'm so conflicted between 4 and 5. I think for sure 4, but I won't rule out 5. I won't rule out 5. Here we go. We got another super chat coming our way. We got Back to the Constitution. What's up, bro? Appreciate you, man. Where people are awfully generous today. Thank you so very much. We got another $20 dono from Back to the Constitution. He says, a Shiba dog in a samurai armor holding a golden trophy. Okay. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the $20 dono. That absolutely does mean the world. Let's move on over to the wide receiving core. And I do think the way that this is going to shake out, we're going to have a lot of wide receivers, I feel like. Marvin, Michael, Greg Dortch, Chris Moore. Let me know in the chat, because I'm not 100% sure. If somebody is suspended, is that still a spot that's taken, right? It is, right? If Zay Jones is suspended, that's still a spot taken, correct? Let me know in the chat. I think it is, because unless he gets put on some sort of list, like an exempt list or something like that, I still do think he's a part of the roster. It's just obviously we won't be able to use him. Correct me here in the chat if you do know the for sure answer, but I think it still counts as a spot. But let's continue. Marvin, Michael, Greg Dortch, Chris Moore, and Zay Jones. Man, oh man, oh man. That 6th guy, you know who I want. Weaver. Oh, I want it so bad. I want Weaver so bad. I think the Zach Pascal experiment, I think we're done. Andre Bocelli, I like him. I think he's a good player. It's just preseason. You know what I mean? Dan C, we're going to call him Dan C. I don't know. I have an issue with his, I have a hard time with his last name, but Dan C, you know who I'm talking about, Dan. I don't think he's going to make it. Tajon Palmer might make the practice squad, but man, oh man, do I want Xavier Weaver to make that 6th spot. If indeed there is 6. Let's talk about the tight ends. Trey McBride, obviously, T. Higgins, and then Tip. That's it. I think there's just going to be 3 of them. Starting tackles, Paris Johnson, Evan Brown, for a whole Will Hernandez, and then Jonah Williams, right? I think it's a no-brainer there. Guys that are going to be backing them up. I can definitely very well see Kelvin Beachum make the squad. I can definitely very well see Elijah Wilkinson make the squad. I can definitely very well see John Gaines make the squad, as well as maybe Isaiah Adams, because he was a 3rd-round pick. Christian Jones, he might make it as well, but he's struggled a lot. But he was a late-round pick as well, so maybe the Cardinals do squeak him in. Did I say T. Higgins? I'm sorry, Elijah Higgins. I apologize. Wow. Trey McBride, Elijah Higgins, and then Tip Ryman. Those are going to be the 3. If I said T. Higgins, I completely apologize. All right, let's move on over to the defensive side of the ball. Let's move on over to the defensive side of the ball. We got Zaven Collins, number 1. We got on the edge, we also got Dennis Gardeck, number 1 on the edge as well. Cameron Thomas, I think he actually played his bum off. I think he did a great job. I think he deserves the spot. I was talking so much smack in 2 or 3 weeks ago. I'm not going to lie to you. I was talking so much smack on Cameron Thomas's name. I apologize. I think he did a really good job, and he deserves to make this roster for sure. After him, in terms of edge, I would love to see the young guy, Xavier Thomas, that we brought in. And I think we heard Jonathan Gannon say he's actually the true, right, one of the true edge rushers that we have on this roster. So I can definitely would love to see him as well. Maybe Jesse Luketa. That would be kind of cool to see. But like Tyreek Smith, I don't think is going to make it. Yeah. Maybe Jesse Luketa won't make it either. But that's just kind of the way. Those 4 I feel like definitely deserves. Demikeji, on the other hand, I don't know if he's going to make it. I really don't know. I don't think Demikeji's really done anything for me to squeak him in. I was going to put him over Cameron Thomas, but I think Cameron Thomas deserves it. I really do. And then, of course, Xavier Thomas, the rookie. The interior, Bilal Nichols, Justin Jones, Roy Lopez had a really good showing. We didn't really see him very much either, so I definitely think he's going to make it. LJ Collier, definitely going to make it as well. On the defensive end, Dante Stills, depending on what happens with Darius Robinson, like in terms of IR or no IR, we can definitely very well see more players in that defensive end position get brought in. But Dante Stills is definitely going to make it. If Darius Robinson is not going to IR, he's going to make it, obviously. Let's see here. I mean, that seems to be the stent on the line. You think Luketa makes it? That's fair. I mean, Luketa did a good job, so I wouldn't be mad if he did. Middle linebackers. Mac Wilson Sr., no doubt, and Kazir White, right? I think we can both agree that that's number 1 and number 2, right? That's number 1 and number 2. Kazir White and Mac Wilson. Now, after them, it's kind of an unknown, right? You agree? It's kind of unknown. We don't know exactly what's going to happen there. I think it will be Kryce Barnes and Owen Papu, however you say his last name, OP. I think they're going to be the guys behind the middle linebackers, Kryce Barnes and Owen Papu, OP. I don't think there's a debate there. Safeties. We just talked about this earlier in the stream. Safeties. Here we go. Jalen Thompson, Buda Baker, Rabbit, maybe Joey Blunt. For special teams, I can definitely see 3, but I think it's going to be 4 safeties. Cornerbacks, Garrett Williams, Max Melton, Sean Murphy-Bunting, Elijah Jones, and Starling Thomas V. I think those are my 5 cornerbacks. If there's a 6th, you can give a case to Keitrell or Darren Hall. You can get a very easy case for them. But I think the 4 guys that are going to make it for sure, Starling, Garrett, Max, and then Sean Murphy-Bunting. Let me know if you agree. But that's kind of the way I see it shake out. The Cardinals did already release some players. If you do not know, it's already on the screen. The Cardinals have released players that we just signed, like literally a week or 2 ago. Definitely less than a month ago for sure. So the Cardinals are starting to cut this roster down to the final 53, and tomorrow we're going to know for sure exactly what it's going to look like. So that's the way that I think it's going to shake out, but I'm so darn curious to figure out what your guys' thoughts here in the chat below in terms of what you feel. We got my guy Sticky. He says Elijah over Clark. I don't know. That's such a tough one to me. I think Clark maybe might get the edge over Elijah, but I think there's just so much potential with Elijah. Jones, taller, lengthier, right? A little bit more of an upside to me. But like I said before, I mean, I could see Keitrell make it, but like, how many cornerbacks and safeties are you going to bring in, right? How many cornerbacks and safeties are going to bring? Are you going to try to do 9 total for the defensive back group? Like, how much is the right amount? Because you got other positions to fill as well. So that one's one of the toughest ones. I think running back and cornerback to me are one of the most unknowns in the back end, right? In the back end. Because obviously we know who the starters are going to be. James Conner, Trey Benson, and Mario Mercado. The back end of it all. Are we carrying 5 running backs? Are we carrying 4? And then how many defensive backs or cornerbacks are we going to be bringing in? So, like, to me, because Keitrell might not have a lot of playing time, I don't know. That's a tough one. It is. Because my mind keeps going back and forth, honestly. It keeps going back and forth, either Keitrell or Elijah. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one. If you guys do not know, there was breaking news that dropped earlier today. If you don't know, I'm going to let you guys know now. I know there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there. They're like, we should go after CeeDee Lamb. No, I crushed that dream. That dream is over. I never thought it was attainable. I never in my imagination thought the Cardinals were going to be in on CeeDee, and never have I talked about it. About CeeDee Lamb coming to the Cardinals. I've humored hearing people talk about it. I've humored listening in and saying, okay, that's cool, right? That's a cool idea, right? Bringing Kyler back with his boy CeeDee. I've humored it. I've heard people talk about it, and I never said anything. But I mean, I truly don't think I never thought it was attainable, and now it's not even more. And now it's even more not attainable because the Arizona Cardinals. There's no way. There's absolutely no way that the Cardinals are going to. Yeah, he got paid today, is what I'm trying to say, right? Long story short, this man got paid today, and he deserves to get paid. Absolutely deserves to get paid. Now, I want to let you guys know one thing real quick. We do got a fantasy football league. We got a fantasy football league for the AZ Sports fan. It's free. There's no money. We use the ESPN app. We have 2 more spots available. 2 more spots available right now. If you're interested in joining, super simple. Just send an email over to my email address, and I'm going to put the email address in the chat below. If you're interested in joining, see if you can beat me. The link is right there. I need just 2 more players to fill up the draft so we can get that going. If you want to join, I just posted my email address in the link below. If you want to play, it's free. Don't have to. All you need to do is download the ESPN app. That's it. No money. Biggest reason why there's no money is I don't have a way to verify people's ages. So, it's one of those things I can't be asking people for money, especially if they're underage. So, it's free. If you want to join, go ahead and the link's right there. If not, no worries. Let's keep it with the chat. Let's see what you guys have to say in terms of what I just talked about pertaining to who you think is going to get the edge with the players that I listed off. So, let's see here. ADAZ says 4 safeties: Rabbit, Baker, Thompson, and Blunt. Boom. This is my mind too, right? I just had a guy in my chat here, and he's probably still here, that thinks that Darren Hall might get the edge. I have nothing about, I have no ill will against Darren. I feel like Blunt gives a good, solid foundation to that special teams. Rabbit, obviously, we use the 4th rounder on him, and then we got the 2 guys that are going to be our number 1s. I think this is going to be the way it goes. This is going to be the way that it goes. Let's see here. Here we go, Fishbowl. What's up, Fishbowl? You're already in the fantasy league. Appreciate y'all for being here, by the way. Thank you so very much. Yes, 2 more spots to fill up. Just go and send an email to that email address I have on the chat, and then you'll be able to get on. First come, first serve. So I'm not going to be holding any spots. Just click on it once I send it to you, and then you should be good. All right, let's see here. I think Joey Blunt I think he can make the team. I do. I think he can make the team. I feel like our only solid spots on defense are safeties and maybe middle linebackers. Those are the positions that I feel confident in myself. I ain't gonna lie to you. Those are the most confident I have in. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm confident in those positions. Myself as well. The D-line might surprise me. The D-line might shock me. Obviously, I will have a lot more confidence if our D-line has Darius Robinson, right? But right now, we don't know when he's going to play, if he's going to play, when he's going to play. It's just a lot of unknowns when it comes down to Darius. So, expectations will definitely be a lot better. For sure. For sure. But No, we didn't. No, absolutely not. Okay, so I apologize about that. Let's do a real quick update here for Cardinal fans that just joined in. I apologize if you guys think, no, he is not out for the year. No. Absolutely not. So Darius Robinson, the latest news that we have here is the fact that he will be missing time, but there's no time limit right now. I know that doesn't give us much, right? I know that doesn't give us the good feels. I'm fully aware of that. But for the new people that just joined in, Darius Robinson right now will miss weeks per Jonathan Gannon, or miss time. I'm sorry, not weeks. He will miss time. We just do not know the time frame of when he's coming back. But tomorrow, if he's put on IR, we know a little bit more, right? If he's not put on IR, then the Cardinals expect maybe a week 2, week 3, week 4 debut. Right now, I think we're just kind of leaving it up to what happens in the 53. Because like I said, if he makes the 53-man roster, that means he probably will be available a lot sooner than we think. So no, he's not done for the year. He's got a calf injury. And that's right now the biggest update is the fact that Jonathan Gannon says he will miss time, but he's not going to put a timeline on it right now. But we'll know more tomorrow. If he's an IR, we know a little bit more. Hopefully that makes sense. So Darius is not going on PUP, or right now we don't know. right now we do not know. Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals organization will let everybody know when they're ready to let everybody know. Right now, Gannon is doing the same thing he's doing all the time. All the time. Gannon is doing he's keeping things close to his chest. That's it. That's what Gannon does. That's what he's doing right now. He doesn't want to reveal too much right now. Don't blame him. Of course, it hurts me as a Cardinal fan because I really want to see him out there, but I think at the end of the day, that's where it's at right now. I think Xavier Thomas should make it. I agree with you. Yes, I agree with you a lot. Yeah, I think Xavier Thomas should make the roster as well. No, at least 5 weeks. We'll know more, right? If he does go on the IR, we'll definitely know a lot more if he's going to. Thoughts on Mac Wilson? I like him. I've spoke to people that cover New England, the Patriots. There's a lot of glowing remarks on Mac Wilson, especially the last year. The Patriots wanted to bring back Mac Wilson. They wanted to. Like, they had a contract almost very similar to the Cardinals contract. And Mac Wilson decided to come to the Cardinals. So I like him. It's just, I don't really know too much about him, right? I know he can play edge. I know he can play middle linebacker. I know he put a lot of weight on, muscle-wise, to play that outside linebacking role, edge. So I love the versatility and what he can bring to this defense. It's just I need to see it on tape. I need to see it on film. I need to see it on Monday, Thursdays, and Sundays. That's where I'll be able to get a very, very good evaluation on what he can be. But honestly, I like him. I think he's a great player. I love the fire that he has. I went to several training camps, and I just love the persona of what Mac Wilson Sr. is. I think he's going to be good. He's got a lot of confidence. He's got a lot of confidence, that young man does. A lot of confidence. So I'm excited. Partners with Pats fan. He says, see, there you go. Yeah. I mean, Pats fans are saying that. Absolutely. 100%. Pats fans are saying this. So I'm very excited. I really am. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. It's going to be fun. Do you think the Cardinals go after Carlos Watkins now that the Rams cut him? Ooh. All I can tell you is this, that the Cardinals are going to be active in the waiver wire. That's what I will tell you. That the Cardinals will be active in the waiver wire. And Carlos Watkins used to be a Cardinal. Yeah, Carlos Watkins used to be a Cardinal. How old is he now? I feel like it's been a while since. He's 30 years old. So he's older. Yeah, Carlos Watkins used to be yeah, I like him. What did he do? I haven't followed his career very much. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, Doesn't seem like a guy that fits the timeline, but I mean, if you're talking about a Band-Aid guy, I don't see why not, right? I don't see why not. But yeah, no, this is going to be fun. I'm excited to see what happens tomorrow. I think the official time, it just kind of happens every single year. But we are going to be closing up shop. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so very much for the super chatters. Darius with the 20 bomb. Back to the Constitution 1 with the 20 bomb. Thank you so very much for the super chats. We will be closing up shop tomorrow. We will be doing a live stream as well to obviously react to the 53, kind of dissect what the Cardinals have done. But like I said before, just because we have the 53 doesn't mean the Cardinals aren't going to make moves. They're going to continue to make moves. I promise you, they're going to continue to make moves. The waiver wire is going to be very, very busy, and there's going to be a video about that as well. So appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. YouTube, thank you. We hit the 50 like goal. People on X/Twitter, thank you so very much for joining in. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking to every single one of you. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cards.